Oh, hi. I'm just sitting here reading Architectural Digest. The reason I do that is because it gives me ideas for staging. And that's one of the things
Really?
we're going to talk about today with staging. So when Sue and I get a house ready, we do what I would call light staging. Light staging is we use their furniture.
Yep.
We bring in some decor items. And when I say decor items, I mean stuff. You can substitute stuff with a different word that starts with an S and it's a hit.
Also 4 letters.
Okay? Bring in stuff from TJX Homesense, any of those companies, and
Hmm.
put it around the house and make it feel homey, warm. Um, and we find that that works pretty well. We find that what it does is it lets us, when we actually go in, we stage the house, then we clean the house, then we get photos done, and we find that people find it more uh, interesting, more engaging, more like them. And my understanding is you're not a staging fan.
Well, my standard answer to everything, because it happens to be true, is that it depends. I know you hate that answer, but I always explain why it depends. So I think that it's sort of the 80-20 rule. So from my perspective, there's a difference between what you just described and paying a staging company, which can be thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we don't. Sue and I don't do the staging company thing. We've done
Right.
staging pictures. We've taken photos of the house and had uh, furniture dropped in, and we indicate that it's a staged, photo staged picture.
Yep.
We've actually gone so far. We had a literally oceanside listing. When I say oceanside, I meant you went to the window and you looked down, and there's the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
And
So flood insurance then?
no, it was actually pretty high up, and so we didn't have to worry about that. But
Okay, cool.
the idea being that if um, when we did those pictures and had furniture laid in, we blew them up and put them on a tripod so that people could see what that particular room would look like.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not a fan of spending $3,000 to have furniture brought into a house. Just not a fan.
Yeah. So if I had to sum up my position, that would be the context. I'm not a fan of spending a significant percentage of the potential total commission on marketing that is not, in my opinion, shown through data to significantly move the needle and move the needle in terms of speed to offer, speed to close, or list to sale price ratio, right? So if I could see what I would consider to be hard hitting data that says, when you pay thousands of dollars to a staging company or an individual stager to stage a home, it will on average, because again, it's on average, sell 3 times faster. I don't see that to be the case. What you're describing, though, to me is meaningfully different. So, what you're describing to me is leveraging what you have available with some maybe anecdotal touches. Maybe you have it in a trailer, maybe you have it in your own house. I've
Oh,
brought art.
I've got 2 containers worth of decor, and
I
what happens
love that.
is Sue and our stager, they go do a house, and then if they don't think that they have the exact piece, it's an excuse for them to go shopping. Now that's my being very sarcastic,
But that's a nice silver lining to it. I would
but I
say,
think it's happening. And so they fill it in, and eventually it ends up in the storage container. And then, like we did this past winter, we donated a lot of that stuff to people through the Greater Boston Association of Realtors. We donated stuff to people that needed it more than us.
oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, what you're describing to me feels like a nice compromise between, you know, staging in a way that is going to make the home seem appealing or look its best, right? We all want a home to look its best. Um, and I brought my own like art from my house to hang in properties before because it felt like the spot was really calling out for it. So I'm not against decor. I'm not against, making the property look its best. But for me, marketing has always come down to ROI, right? And not every deal or every home requires every marketing tactic that we've ever learned, right?
Right. I
So
agree
you
with
prioritize, based on what that property needs and its price point and its target demographic, which marketing channels and therefore which marketing spend is going to get you to sell that property for top dollar as quickly as possible. And just for me, the way this comes up in the office sometimes is, folks will hire stagers, and that's wonderful. And then I go and the house looks beautiful, but then when I look at the offer volume, or I look at the speed to offer, or I look at the sale price, it doesn't seem to me that you could correlate the thousands of dollars in staging with whatever happens on the transaction. So, I like to say that I just don't think professional staging, the juice is worth the squeeze, because there are a bunch of other marketing tactics that I think are more meaningful and certainly more cost effective to get you in front of as many people as possible. Because that's the other thing about staging. So staging is very bottom of the funnel. You already have the customer there. They're a captive audience. Let's say it's an open house or a private showing. And in the pictures, of course, right? So it is an element of your first impression. But as far as getting them into the home, I haven't heard anyone say, oh, that lamp right there, right? That's going to be the thing that sells it. Now, you're trying to give them this whole impression of what it would be like to live there. But with my buyers, and I work with a lot of them, I find that they can get just as easily distracted by that as sort of sold by that. Meaning, if that style is not their style that the home might be staged in, or even if it's not staged, it's just a home that doesn't happen to be decorated to their style, it's surprising to me how often they're like, well, I don't like this paint, I don't like that coffee table, but none of that is what really matters. You know what I mean? So I will say where I find it to be helpful is if you have new construction, paying for renderings, even though those can be thousands of dollars, I would say are critical, because new construction, there's nothing there yet to look at.
you.
And
Right.
so helping craft that visual is a critical component to helping the customer not just market to them, but helping the customer really understand what they're getting for their money. So the visual
I've
component,
become pretty adept when it comes to stuff like that. I've got a place over in Vietnam that for short dollars will do that, and I
nice.
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is helpful. I just, I look at it from an ROI perspective. And so, I don't see that typically the average house is going to need thousands of dollars in staging.
Well, with that, let's draw this one to a close,
Okay.
and we will do it again. By the way, we didn't get a chance to introduce who you are.
I work at Castanetti Group.
Okay, and you're one of the big dogs.
Depends on the day, but yeah, I try.
We're going to talk about that in the next video.
Oh, all right. Good. I'm
All right,
excited. All right. Thanks, everybody.
bye.